The mind. When the five senses the mind are stilled, when the reasoning intellect rests in silence, then begins the highest path. Okay. When the five senses and the mind are still, when the reasoning intellect rests in silence, then begins the highest path. The monkey mind. The mind is compared to drunk monkey. That's a bit. I'm sorry. Wow. The mind is compared to a drunk monkey that's been bitten by a scorpion or haunted by a ghost. We humans have roughly 70,000 separate thoughts each day. Other than that, our brains are thinking forward and backward, filling in ideas about present time based on what we've experienced in the past and anticipating what is to come. Most of the time, your brain is not reacting to events in the world. It's predicting, constantly guessing what's going to happen next. It's a thought as a branch, and our minds as monkeys, swinging from one branch to the next often aimlessly. This almost sounds like fun, but as we all know, it is anything but. Usually those are fears, concerns, negativity, and stress. What will happen this week at work? What should I eat for dinner? Have I saved enough for the holiday this year? Why is my day 5 minutes late? Why am I here? These are all general questions that deserve answers, but none of them will be resolved while we swing from branch to branch, thought to thought. This is the jungle of an untrained mind. True growth requires understanding the mind. It is a filter, judge, and director of all our experience. But as evidenced by the conflict of thought, almost our adventure, we are not always one mind. The more we can evaluate, understand, train, and strengthen our relationship with the mind, the more successfully we navigate our lives and overcome challenges. This battle in our mind is waged over the smallest daily choices. Do I have to get up right now, or because should I end the relationship? All of us face such as battles each single day. These dilemmas which all of us agonize over, and Aldo tells his grandson, every choice in life is a battle between two wolves inside us. One represents anger, envy, greed, fear, lies, insecurity, and ego. The other represents peace, love, compassion, kindness, humility, and positivity. They are completing for supremacy, which wolf wins. The grandson asks, the one you feed, the elder replies. But how do we feed them? I asked my teacher. The monkey said, by what we read and hear, by who we spend our time with, but by what we do with our time, by where we focus on our energy and attention. Stage for him who has conquered the mind. The mind is best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his very mind will be the greatest enemy. The word enemy may seem too strong to describe the voice of dissent in your head, but the definition rings true. A thing that harms and weakens something, sometimes our minds work against us. They convince us to do something that makes us feel guilty or bad about it, often because it's gone against our values and morals. People who've been asked to recall an unethical action so that they feel physically heavier than those who've been asked to recall a neutral memory. When we procrastinate, there's conflict between what we researchers call our true self, or what we feel we should do because it's good for us, and then our oneself, what I actually want to do in the moment. It made me compare myself to other people instead of concentrating on my own growth. Excitement and depression, fortune and misfortune, pleasure and pain are stones in a tiny private shell-bound rim which we take to the whole of existence. It makes sense then. Okay, it makes sense. Then, that when the Buddha finally reached the rim utterly beyond the reach of thought, he described the feelings like a chick breaking out of its shell. I learned something that has been crucial in curbing these dangerous, self-destructive thoughts. Our thoughts are like a cross specified. The self, like the sun, is always there. We are not our minds. As in my interaction, the quality of our communication with the mind is based on the history of our relationship with them. Are we hold ourselves in incumbents or stubborn unwillingness to engage? Do we have the same arguments over and over again? Or do we listen or compromise? Most of us don't know the history of this interrelationship because we've never taken the time to reflect on it. The monkey mind is a child and a monk mind is adult. A child cries when it doesn't get what it wants, ignoring what it really has. A child struggles to appreciate a real value. When something challenges us in some way, the childlike may react immediately. Maybe you feel insulted and make a sore face, or you start defending yourself. A conditioned automatic reaction like this is ideal. If someone pulls out a knife, you feel scared and you bolt. But it's not ideal if you're being emotionally defensive because if someone has said something you don't want to hear. You don't want to be controlled by automatic reaction in every case, nor do we want to eliminate the child mind altogether. The child mind enables us to be spontaneous, creative, and dynamic. All invaluable qualities, but when it rules us, it can be our downfall. The adult mind reminds us to pause and access the bigger picture, taking time to weigh the default reaction, decide if it's appropriate, and purpose other options. The intelligent parent knows what the child needs versus what it wants and can decide what is better for in the long term. Framing in a conflict this way, parent and child, suggests that when the childlike mind is fully in control, it's because our monk mind has been developed, strengthened, or hurt. The child gets frustrated, throws tantrums, we quickly give in to it. Then we get mad ourselves. Why would I do this? What is wrong with me? The parent is a smarter voice. If well trained, it is self-control, reasoning power, and is a debating temp. But it can only use the strength and that we give it. It is weaker when tired, hungry, and ignored. When parent is supervising, the child climbs on a counter near the hot stove to get in a cookie jar, and trouble follows. On the other hand, if the parent is too controlling, the child gets bitter, resentful, and risk-averse. As with all On the other hand, if the parents are too controlling, the child gets bitter, resentful, and risk-averse. As with all parent-child relationships, striking the right balance is an ongoing challenge. This then is the first step to understanding our minds, simply becoming aware of the different voices inside us. Starting to differentiate what you're hearing will immediately help you make better decisions. When you begin to sort out the multiple voices in your head, the level of conflict may surprise you. It doesn't make sense. Our minds should work in our own best interest. Our five senses telling us what appeals in the moment, our memories, recalling what we have experienced in the past, and our intellect synthesizing and evaluating the best choices for the long term. Beyond the parent-child model, the monk teaching have another analogy for the comparing voices in our heads. In the action shows that working in the mind is compared to the chariot being driven by 5 horses. Okay, master the senses. Think about those 5 unruly horses, harnessed to the chariot of lazy driver, snorting and tossing their heads impatiently. Oh, I didn't make this part. I guess highlight, slow it down. Find the self-compassion. Oh, I think I should read it in this book. Okay, stay present. It can be hard to know what to tell your monkey mind when it's dwelling on the past or spinning into the future. Just as the past is unchangeable, the future is unknowable. Oh, a certain amount of planning is useful, and a good preparation for the various scenarios ahead. But when these thoughts tip into the repetitive anxiety and worry or unrealistic aspirations, they are no longer productive. When your mind continually returns to the thoughts of the past or the future, look for the clues in the present. As your mind is seeking to shield or distract you, instead of thinking about what matters in the past or what the future might hold, gently guide your mind back to the moment. Ask yourself questions about right now. What is missing from this moment? What is unpleasant about today? What would I like to change? Ideally, when we talk ourselves about the present, we look back at the negative and positive elements of the past as the imperfect road that brought us to where we are. A life that we accept and from which we can still grow. And ideally, we also think of the future in context of the present, an opportunity to realize a promise of today. Nothing harms you. When we talk about ourselves as we would to a loved one, just as when we observe the argument between the child mind and adult mind, we are creating distance between ourselves and our own mind in order to see more clearly. We've discussed this approach before. Instead of reaching emotionally monkey skin perspective by stepping out of the situation to become objective observers. In chapter 3, we talked about stepping away from fear, and we gave this action a name, detachment. The crane stands still in water, ignoring the small fish as they pass by. Detachment is a form of self-control that has infinite benefits across every form of self-awareness that I talk about in this book, but its origin is always in the mind. The Gita defines detachment as doing the right thing for its own sake, because it needs to be done, without the worrying about the success or failure. That sounds simple enough, but think about what it takes to do the right thing for its own sake. It means detaching from your selfish interest from being right, from being seen in a certain way, from what you want right now. Detaching means escaping the whole of senses, of earthly desires, of the material world. You have the perspective of an objective observer. A call from Ellie, cousin and son-in-law. Okay. Don't try this at home. Oh, this at home. Must go to extreme to achieve detachment. I don't expect you to do this. But after we look at how it works, we'll talk about more practical, if fun, ways to experiment with detachment and the benefits it yields. Experimenting in discomfort, like fasting, silence, meditating, in heat or cold, and as we've discussed. Detaches you from the body because it makes you realize how much of this comfort in this mind. Another way we monks tested our detachment was the travel with nothing, no food, no shelter, no money. We have to fend for ourselves and recognize that we need very little to get by. It also made us more grateful for all that we had. All of these exercises helped us push ourselves to the limit, mentally and physically, to build resilience, grit, to strengthen our ability to control our minds. The first time I did a full-day fast, consuming no food or water, I spent the first few hours feeling desperately hungry. We weren't supposed to take naps while we were fasting. The point wasn't in have the experience, not to avoid it with sleep. I had to use my intellect to suit myself. I had to become absurd in something higher to let go of these hungry thoughts. As the day went on, I realized that because my body didn't need to think about what we eat to prepare for a meal, to consume or to digest, I actually had more a different sort of energy. When I fast, we detach from the body and all the time we spend attending to its demands. When we remove eating, we can let go of hunger and safety and pain or pleasure and failure and success. Okay, I don't think fasting. Yeah, they talk about fasting, but I don't know it. Sometimes you slow it down. Sometimes you refrain words and pen on paper. Imagine a monkey swimming from the bench to bench and full throttle. It takes effort to grab its attention and force it to focus. When your mind is anxious and racing, when your thoughts are repetitive and unproductive, when you feel like you need to press pause, take 15 minutes to write down every thought that enters your mind. For a study, a group of college students spent 15 minutes a day for 4 days in writing their deepest thoughts and feelings about the most traumatic experience of their lives. Not only did the students say they found the experience to be valuable, 98% said they'd like to do it again. But they didn't just enjoy the writing, it also improved their health. Students who had written about the traumatic experiences had fewer visits to the University Health Center after the study. The researchers concluded that one of the benefits of writing may have been helping students render their worst experiences as coherent narrative. Distancing themselves from the moment this way allowed them to see the experience in objectivity and that one hopes to conjure a happy ending. Writer Kristen McGray wasn't terrified of flying. She tried white and knuckling it. Okay. If you don't like writing, you can speak into your phone, then play it back to an audio file or read the transcript. Many phones can transcribe their spoken words into text. Recording yourself puts you in your observer mindset, making you deal more objectively with yourself. Another option is to simply repeat an ancient summarizing that the monks use in my mind, my friend, over and over in your head. When you repeat a phrase, it quits the default mode network. Default mode network. That's true. The area of the brain associated with the mind wandering and thinking about yourself. The monkey will be forced to stop and listen. Find the self-compassion. When the anxious monkey mind has stopped to listen, you can twink internal monologue with the self-compassion. Oh my god, okay. I know you are worried and upset and you feel like you can handle this, but you're strong, you can do it. Remember, it's about observing your feeling without judging them. With my friend as branding company, I did an exercise with a small group of teenage girls. They wrote down like this: you're scared, you're worthless, you're unimportant. Then I asked them to read what they had written to their sisters, as if it were about them. They all refused. It's not very nice. One point out that it's not a number in her head, but completely different when she spoke it. We say things ourselves so that they would never say to people we love. We honor our golden rules. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. To that I would add, treat yourself with the same love and respect you want to show to others. Treat yourself with the same love and the same respect you want to show to others. Oh, okay. Stay present. Okay. Use reasoning for the chariot here. Write a list of negative things that you say to yourself. Next to each one, write down how you would present that idea to someone you care about. For example, these are the negative thoughts and sisters wrote down about themselves, along with how they might be presented them to their sisters. You're scared. It's okay to feel scared. How can I help you through this? You're worthless. You feel worthless, so let's talk about what you love about yourself. Okay. I don't think that's really okay. We are defining this narrative that we write for ourselves every day. It is a story of joy, perseverance, love, and kindness, or it is a story of guilt, blame, bitterness, and a failure. Find a new vocabulary to match the emotions and the feelings that you want to live by. Talk to yourself with love.